Every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello, thank you for joining us on CoreTV Primetime News, coming to you live from our Lagos studio. I am Frank Omalape. Tonight, for joining us now, the United States and Nigeria have agreed to establish groups focused on strengthening security cooperation, the economy, and tackling corruption after a day-long dialogue at the State Department. In a joint statement, the country said the groups will come up with a paperwork within a month to finalize the goals. Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari is meeting the U.S. Secretary of State, Mr. John Kerry, on Thursday on the sidelines of a two-day nuclear security summit in Washington, D.C., comprising of leaders from at least 50 countries. Mr. Kerry and Nigeria's Foreign Minister Geoffrey Onyema held meetings and acknowledged the security challenges posed by the Boko Haram insurgency in Nigeria's northeast and neighboring countries, as well as tough economic times caused by the fall in oil prices. According to the U.S. Secretary of State, the United States is committed to helping Nigeria tackle the Boko Haram insurgency. Meanwhile, the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, has said there is no disagreement whatsoever between the executive and the legislature on the 2016 budget, which has been passed by the National Assembly. He says it is not true that the president has refused to sign the appropriation bill passed by the National Assembly, as it takes a few days for the National Assembly to clean up the document and readiness for the president's assent. The minister adds that the budget, when eventually passed into law, will lift millions of Nigerians out of poverty, thanks to the 6 focal areas of social intervention contained therein, according to the minister. Lai Mohammed further discloses that the federal government will also commence the conditional cash transfer to the most vulnerable Nigerians, just as it will grant scholarship to students of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. The minister also thanks Nigerians for their patience and their understanding of the challenges facing the government, saying the government is working round the clock to alleviate the pains of Nigerians. In the same vein, the Minister for Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, is charging residents information officer to begin playing a critical role in disseminating information to the public. The minister disclosed this at a meeting with all ministry, departmental and agency information officers. He says the meeting is aimed at enhancing relationship with the stakeholders with a view to ensure that Nigerians take ownership of the change agenda. Our correspondent Kikelomo Okere completes the story.
Speaking at the event, the Minister for Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, charged the resident information officers to be the major driver in the vehicle of change. He is urging them to continuously formulate and articulate dynamic communication strategies to effectively project policies and programs of the MDAs.
We are the center point of all MDAs, hence we cannot afford to fail. The challenge before us as federal government information managers, therefore, is to ensure that we keep Nigerians duly informed.
Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Information, Ayotunde Adesuba, says the meeting is aimed at reviewing the operations of the resident information officers for greater efficiency and asks them to be more dedicated to their work with the spirit of productivity.
You are specially trained and oriented to perform the onerous function of facilitating the dissemination of factual, accurate, and timely information about government to Nigerians.
Information is key in any country's quest for development, and it is therefore the duty of the officers charged with the business of elevating the nation to greater heights to be more disposed to sending out beneficial communication about the country to the world. Kikelomo Okiri, CoreTV News, Abuja.
Let's turn our attention to other stories now on security matter. The Chief of Air Staff says the Nigerian Air Force is now properly positioned to effectively check the menace of insurgents in the northeast. Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar gave the assurance on Thursday when he visited the Akwa Ibom State Governor Udom Emmanuel at the government house in Uyo. He expresses confidence in the ability of the Air Force to return normalcy to the northeast and all other parts of the country affected by the activities of the Boko Haram terrorists. Air Marshal Abubakar says the Nigerian Air Force is considering the establishment of an operation base in Akwa Ibom State to further enhance the performance of its constitutional responsibilities. In his response, Governor Emmanuel acknowledged the contributions of the Nigerian Air Force to maintain peace and security in the country, while urging Nigerians to have continued confidence in the force. In the meantime, the Nigerian military says it has commenced joint inter-security agencies and other security stakeholders training to properly manage the situation of kidnapping and insurgency in the country. This was made known by the commandant of the Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Jaji Air Vice Marshal Sulaiman Dambo, while declaring open the training tagged Operation Husky BU 2016. The commandant said the exercise has become imperative in the face of threat posed by the dynamism of the current security challenges in the country, while kidnapping and insurgency has become a threat to the country. He charged security agents in the country to always be conscious and observant at all times as they go about their respective duties. The commandant urged them to ensure that their disclosure of information to outside sources, movement, association, and other actions do not undermine national security. And now members of the Islamic movement in Nigeria this Thursday defied the ban on public processions in Kaduna State for northwest Nigeria as they continue to intensify their call for the unconditional release of the leader of the Shiite group, Sheikh Ibrahim El-Zakzaky. The brave procession held in Kaduna City Center in the latest and the Shiite group's quest to secure Sheikh El-Zakzaky's release from detention since December last year. The report now. The protesters, under the auspices of the Academic Forum of the Islamic Movement, students numbering about 50 were positioned at the Leventis roundabout in Kaduna City Center. The protesters say the continued detention of the Zaria-based Islamic cleric by government authorities since last December is unjustified. They say their protest in pursuance of Sheikh El-Zakzaky's release from custody is now going beyond Kaduna to include other major cities in other parts of the country, as they will not relent in their continued call for his unconditional release along with other detainees.
We still haven't seen our leader. He should release them. He should release him together with our brothers still in custody. We have more than 200 brothers here in prison in Kaduna. We have others that are still missing. We don't know where they have been taken to.
We are out to demand the unconditional release of Sheikh El-Zakzaky by the authorities of Nigerian government. This rally is not only limited here in Kaduna Metropolis. It is happening in Kano. It is taking place in Sokoto.
For the members of the Islamic movement, the call for justice and the release of Sheikh El-Zakzaky would only end when his detention doors. And now Lekki State Governor Oyedepo says the over 200 girls of the government secondary school Chibok in Borno State abducted by Boko Haram militant in 2014 and are missing, saying it was mere political gimmick. Fauci gave this insight while declaring open a two-day workshop organized for women by a non-governmental organization, Women Arise for Change Initiative in Ado-Ekiti. We'll bring you that full report of that story in our subsequent bulletins. And our public procurement experts are convinced that Nigeria can achieve its infrastructural development if the authorities in charge of contract award adopt international best practices. This is a submission of experts who converge in Abuja for the second National Conference on Public Procurement. Correspondent Basilo Kafa was there and filed in this report from our studios.
Nigeria, no doubt, is a country that has suffered infrastructure deficiency for a long period of time. Different administrations had made promises on addressing the infrastructure challenges facing the country. Procurement experts at this conference believe that government agencies saddled with award of contract must perform in line with standard norms. But government officials are saying that things are being done in proper perspective in line with the present administration's anti-corruption campaign.
Yes, actually we are anti-corruption. Many people they don't know. Our work actually is to prevent corruption before it happens through procurement processes.
The public procurement experts also blame government agencies who they say award contract without advertisement and proper bidding by the contractor. They say this is part of the problems responsible for poorly executed projects across the country. The conference has as its theme sustaining the anti-corruption campaign through best practices.
And of the challenges facing the power sector in Nigeria will be overcome, with all Nigerians pulling in the same direction by contributing the wrong quarter in terms of action and steps to raise the growth of the sector. Power, Works and Housing Minister Babatunde Fashola says the challenges of the sector is temporary and will be overcome with the 10,000 megawatts target of the president met in due time. He says patriotism, as displayed by two players in the nation's burgeoning private sector, driven power sector, is important for this to be achieved. Residents of Lagos are complaining bitterly over the lingering fuel scarcity in the country, as fuel dispensing filling stations feature long queues of cars, motorcycles, tricycles, and even generating sex tanks. The case is more dramatic, with jerrycan owners who are being chased out of some filling stations. CoreTV News take a tour around major filling stations in Lagos. They report now.
The feeling of reject on the faces of these jerrycan owners who have not been able to purchase fuel to power their generators and other machineries can be seen. The fuel scarcity is biting really hard on Nigerians, having been on for months.
The fuel is scarce and there's no fuel for free stations. Some places you go, they are selling 130, they are selling 140, they are selling 150. And it's not supposed to be like that. You understand me? So this fuel issue is very, very bad.
See the queue. People want to buy fuel with their money. You'll be on the queue begging to buy fuel. Car you cannot buy, because if you don't have a car, you cannot buy fuel. Does it mean if there's a normal power supply, we want to go and buy fuel for free station? Power supply, NEPA.
Car owners are not exempted from the struggle.
They may tow the vehicle. So the remaining fuel I have in my car, I have to queue. But here now, they are not selling inside keg. So if I reach house now, and since there is no light, I will sleep in darkness.
Although the Minister of State for Petroleum, Ibe Kachiku, has given April 7 as deadline to end the current suffering, Nigerians remain skeptical but still hope for a lasting solution to the scarcity of such an essential commodity. Akin Obakeye, CoreTV News, Lagos.
You're still watching CoreTV Primetime News. Still ahead of Primetime News, in Kwara State, a group of youth is calling on the federal government and the Code of Conduct Tribunal to discharge the Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, on his trial. We'll bring you more details after this break.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digit 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Angela, that's a very difficult question.
It is difficult to respond to that question.
Angela, that's a great question.
Great question, Angela. Angela, that is a very great question. That's a great question, Angela.
Okay, that's a great question.
Yeah, very good question.
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
That's an interesting question.
This is an interesting question you pose. 60 Minutes with Angela. Again, answers to every question you always wanted to ask.
You're still watching CoreTV Primetime News, broadcasting live from our Lagos studios. A reminder of our top stories now. We do want to remind you that all our top stories can be found on our social media platforms, like our Facebook page, facebook.com/CoreTV News. You can also follow at CoreTV News NG. Subscribe to our YouTube channel now. It's youtube.com/CoreTV. Leave a space, the news. And our youth across the three Kwara senatorial district have staged a peaceful protest at the All Progressive Congress State Party Secretariat in Ilori to show their displeasure over the trial of the Senate President Dr. Bukola Saraki at the Code of Conduct Tribunal, which they believed was politically motivated. The youth who came out with different inscriptions on their placard described the trial as injustice and unacceptable. The youth leader of the group, Comrade Tunde Alagbo, who spoke on behalf of the youth, called on the national leadership of the party to speak out.
This party needs so much to do than
of party members.
We now say that we have resolved to do everything possible as human beings under the law to resist all persecution of our leader.
Meanwhile, the state chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Inyola Oyedepo, has commended President Muhammadu Buhari in the way and manner he goes about the fight against corruption and the will to not be induced by an individual over Saraki's trial, while alleging that some members of the APC may have issues with the Senate President. Oyedepo calls for his trial at the state level if found culpable. And our unknown gunmen have killed a man identified as an aide to the Asari Toro Caretaker Committee chairman, was killed in Buguma, the headquarters of the local government area, in the wee hours of Thursday. The victim, known as God Knows, was said to have been shot dead inside his residence. Speaking with journalists, the Caretaker Committee chairman of Asari Toro local government area, Soboma Jarik, described the victim as an easygoing fellow. He recalls that the victim was recently threatened by a group of people who accuse him of being an informant to security operatives on the criminal activities in the area. Jarik, however, disclosed that the police has been informed about the killing, adding that a group of security operatives came to Buguma on Thursday morning and took the victim's remains to the mortuary. And freedom came the way of two pastors kidnapped by unknown gunmen in Kaduna State after 10 days of captivity. Those released were Reverend Dr. Emmanuel Zigao, Reverend Yakubu Zama, while Reverend Ilya Antudile in their custody. Confirming their release in a press statement signed by the General Secretary of the United Church of Christ in Nigeria, known as HECAN, Reverend Jibralu Wuiba said the HECAN President Reverend Emmanuel Zigao and retired Reverend Yakubu Zama were freed from their abductors yesterday evening and are now receiving treatment in an undisclosed hospital in Kaduna, while the HECAN Vice President Reverend Ilya Antu was found dead. Earlier, the three HECAN pastors were kidnapped by unknown gunmen at the proposed HECAN Theological Seminary permanent site along Kaduna-Abuja Road on Monday, 21st March 2016. And now, Osho State government has been asked to steer action on the planned sack of about 678 staff of the Ladoke Akitola University Teaching Hospital, Lautech, Oshogbo, the Osho State capital. This follows a legal action instituted against the government at the State High Court by a civil rights legal practitioner, Komi Ajibola. The Osun State government, however, says is ready to meet the litigant in court. Addressing newsmen in Osogbo, the state capital, Barrister Ajibola noted that the Oregbeshola's government, through the former chief medical director of Lautech Osogbo, Professor Femi Fadiora, recruited the workers in 2012 following all due process. He says the claim that there is over-recruitment at the hospital, hence the reason for the sack of the over 600 staff, is suspicious.
Part of good governance is ability to make the people you govern happy, ability to provide them job, not taking away from back door or from front door what has been given to them.
Although the present chief medical director, Professor Wale Lasisi, declined to speak on camera when we visited the hospital, the former Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice in the state, Wale Afolabi, believes the case instituted by Barrister Ajibola would not stand because the litigant is neither a staff nor a student of the hospital, while noting that government, being the employer of these staff, has every right to investigate any wrong action seems to have been taken in the process of recruiting them. Afolabi maintained that defense against the case is already being prepared by the State Ministry of Justice.
If students or staff of Lautech has gone to court now, it's a defense. But for a lawyer, a busybody to just go to court to challenge government action, it leaves more to be desired. But like I said, the case is in court. We don't want to pass any comment much on it now.
Meanwhile, a date for the commencement of hearing on the matter is being expected. Now, Committee for Defense of Human Rights, Lagos chapter staged a peaceful protest in solidarity with market men and women of the Ashadi Retail Market Phase 1 over the demolition of 60 shops by the Agege local government and some agents. The demolition was said to have been carried out by the Executive Secretary of the local government on Thursday 24th and Friday 25th of March 2016. Although there is a pending matter before Lagos High Court between the traders and the Agege local government area. Our correspondent Akioba Keye tells us more.
A solidarity gathering for concerned marketsmen and women of the Ashadi Retail Market, Phase 1, at the Lagos State House of Assembly complex. The demolition is considered an act of illegality by the traders, considering a court injunction restraining any form of demolition in the market.
There's an injunction already. They just want to use all this mago way. They have been stopped, and that is just it. They cannot continue.
As far as we are concerned, we will continue to be law-abiding. We will maintain the status quo because what the court injunction stated was that the parties involved in the scramble for the market should maintain the status quo. That is, we should respect the rule of law.
They claim the act is an unfair and inhumane treatment by the authorities.
Last Thursday, before 5 o'clock a.m., while some of us were still at home, some of us are already at the market, and while we came around, the so-called developer, Madame Dosumu, she has already demolished like 60 shops in Ashade Market Phase 1.
After seeing the court injunction, they still continue demolishing it. You can see it around, see it. The court injunction is around the place. And the Agege local government is claiming that they don't know that we are in court.
Call it an act of lawlessness, or whatever name best describes this action of demolition here at the Ashadi Market in Agege, Lagos State. It is hoped that the injunction provided by the courts will be respected, and whatever demolition that has been done here, arms will be given to those concerned and those affected parties. Akioba Keye, CoreTV News, Lagos.
And of the National Association of Aircraft Pilots and Engineers, NAPI, has shut down operations of Bristol helicopters in Lagos and Rivers State. NAPI discloses that the two-day warning strike was over alleged pay disparity between expatriate and Nigerian pilots. The workers say meetings with officials had not yielded any results, which was what prompted the industrial action. Officials of the company were seen manning the gate of the premises on Thursday morning. In a swift reaction, Bristol Helicopters, through its public relations agency, says it will respond shortly. And our Nigerian Automobile Technicians Association, NATA Ogun State Chapter, is calling on government for support and encouragement to produce locally made cars, seeing that almost 60% of all goods the nation consumes are imported. Celebrating its first year in place, the Ogun State NATA chairman reiterates the importance of having made in Nigeria automobiles while urging more recognition from government as a strategy towards improving Nigeria's economy. Our correspondent Victoria Solomon files in this report from our studios.
The Nigerian Automobile Technician Association, which comprises of the panel beaters, car spare part sellers, vulcanizers, technicians, says the body is capable of producing cars locally.
We can actually produce. Nigerians have the best brains in the world. We can explode more than this if you have a very serious support. I mean true support, not a biased support.
Our brain, panel-beater, rewired, organizer, and mechanic, and blacksmith. When we join hands together, we now know what to do, and when we produce what we want to do, if Nigeria allow us, we achieve what we want to do.
They also call for support from the government.
Now, you only made an Air Force find way to get the mechanic village out of this place. We are even put one places now, but now government now go know where you get accretion or it's not accretion, because when we don't grade on other places now, they will say they don't want to use in there.
We need them to guide us and to finance us. There are machines that will use. I don't know if I will call it a sort of a fabricating machines that will mold whatever we want for us.
The economy of Nigeria at this time requires that all hands be on deck, and seeing this call by NATA as a way to go would not be far from the right action to take.
And now Nigerians have been expressing divergent views on child marriage, and while some believe it's permissible, others feel strongly against it. Here again is Victoria Solomon's report from our studio.
In Nigeria, 43% of girls are married off before their 18th birthday. 17% are married before they turn 15. The prevalence of child marriage varies widely from one region to another, with figures as high as 76% in the northwest region and as low as 10% in the southeast. Poverty, poor education, religious and traditional sentiments are believed to be the drivers of child marriage. Opinion, however, differ as to its rightness or wrongness.
Islam is of this position. The earlier a woman gets married, the better her reproductive life and the better her age-long life to live healthy and live well within a human being.
I practice, which is Christianity, says a man and woman shall come together, not a man and child, all right, or a woman and child to it. It is either you want to oppress that child and you do not want to give that child any contribution in that marriage beyond satisfying your sexual urge and endangering her life.
The Nigerian Constitution did not establish a minimum age for marriage, although the Child Rights Act passed in 2003 sets marriageable age at minimum of 18 years old. And only 23 of Nigeria's 36 states have taken concrete steps to implement it. No doubt, many will continue to wonder what could be wrong with an age-long tradition. Activists, on the other hand, are not ready to accept the rationale behind a teenage missus.
The Ikeja District Society of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria organized a symposium for members of the institution. The theme, Tapping Opportunities from Your Environment, had an array of entrepreneurial professionals from the Federal Institute of Industrial Research, the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, and the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria. The symposium geared towards ICANN members keen into the federal government's economic diversification policy and begins small and medium-scale businesses to boost the economic and financial base of the country and its members.
The huge potentials of micro, small and medium-scale enterprise is among us, with an influx of people setting up businesses centered on economic growth. For this reason, The Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICANN, has organized a symposium to encourage its members towards entrepreneurship. Speaking to journalists at the event, the treasurer of ICANN charges members to take a stand in becoming entrepreneurs due to the fall in oil price and the federal government's diversification policy.
So we are trying to encourage members to really come out and think of what they can make for themselves. A lot of things are happening in this country. No one would have predicted about 12 months ago that the oil, the main staple of Nigerian economy, which is the oil and gas, is going to be the shape as it is now. But having done that, what do we need to do? We need to start diversifying as a nation. Now, we as individuals, as professionals, professional accountants too, we need to start thinking of what else can we do to improve our quality. And that is why we are bringing up this symposium on entrepreneurship, asking people to tap into the opportunity in the environment.
The relevance of the Federal Institute of Industrial Research in providing accurate information in commercially viable businesses is pointed out by its director, Finance and Accounts.
There are many technologies that you can take advantage of, from bread to cassava starch to fish clean, mushroom technologies, and so many. Even as little as 20,000 naira, you have things that you can do. Come down there and take advantage of those technologies. There's no need for us roaming about the street and looking for a job that is not available there. Come down and you have an array of technologies. That is why we are also showcasing those technologies for our colleague chartered accountants today.
With the drive for exportation of locally made goods in Nigeria, the Deputy Director of the Nigerian Export Promotion Council speaks on the support of the agency in promoting exportable products by small and medium-scale businesses.
The Nigerian Export Promotion Council has a dual role in this respect. For example, some of the products we promote are even to help us conserve our scarce foreign exchange. For example, if Nigeria imports toothpick and we are able, through our effort, through our advocacy, to stimulate production of these products, definitely the foreign exchange that will have been used to import these products will be saved.
The economic diversification policy by the federal government is gaining attention by stakeholders and Nigerians at large. Entrepreneurs are asking for relevant support by the federal government and its agencies in ensuring a sustainable economy. Akin Obake, CoreTV News, Lagos.
And now the Lagos State government will, from April 1st, 2016, commence prosecution of tax evaders and offenders in the state. The executive chairman of the Lagos Internal Revenue Service, Olufolarin Ogunsawo, made this known, adding that this taxes are channeled towards renewing infrastructure and general development of the state. He says there will be no hiding place for offenders, as the service had put all necessary machineries in place to ensure the enforcement of the tax laws with effect from the first day of the second quarter of the year. Ogunsawo says the move has become necessary because a large fraction of eligible taxpayers in the state are not complying with the law, which states that eligible taxpayers must pay within 90 days of the new year. Ogunsawo urges all taxable residents in Lagos State to quickly pay their taxes, adding that the government will, through the Rapid Tax Prosecution Unit, commence prosecution of tax defaulters in Lagos State without further notice. And our motorists who ply the ever-busy Lagos-Badagry Expressway may now heave a sigh of relief as the Lagos State government has set in motion extensive repair of the road. Lagos State Governor Kilmi Ambode had called for the repair of the road to improve driving experience of motorists in the area. While addressing journalists on Thursday, General Manager and Special Advisor to the Governor of Public Works, Ayotunde Sudende, says the Public Works Corporation has already mobilized its workers to commence work immediately on several sections of the road. Sudende says the repair works will include covering all potholes on the road, while the drainage system will also be given a facelift. He expresses optimism that when rehabilitation works are completed, it will be to a large extent reduce the traffic congestion, assuring that the public works gangs will work day and night on the roads. In the meantime, the Lagos State government has described as inaccurate reports making rounds on social media that the monthly environmental sanitation in the state has been outlawed. The state government says the erroneous story, which was attributed to the state commissioner for the environment, Babatunde Adejare, is incorrect. Lagos State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Steve Ayoride, says Adejare was misquoted out of context when he indicated that the restriction of movement may be dispensed with, as he did not in any way suggest that the monthly sanitation had been outlawed. The government spokesperson reiterates that the monthly environmental exercise is still in force in Lagos State for now, adding that it might become necessary in the near future to observe the cleanup exercise regularly without having to restrict vehicular movement. In Cross River State, the State Universal Basic Education Board has uncovered over 200 fake teachers in 9 local government areas of the state. This discovery follows the ongoing personal audit of teachers in the state by the SUBEB. Those found culpable had fake certificates, while others were ghost teachers and dead teachers whose salaries were still being drawn on monthly basis, among others. Report says the discovery had pitched the state wing of the Nigerian Union of Teachers against SUBEB on the claims that the audit process was fraught with victimization. The leadership of NUT had protested to the State House of Assembly, calling for an immediate suspension of the ongoing audit of teachers. You're still watching CoreTV Primetime News. We'll take another break now. We'll be back with more stories in sport and outside Nigeria. Stay with us.
Thinking of how to send goods to anywhere? Think All-Seal Mail Services. Our courier and logistics is world-class. What of your travel needs? All-Seal Travel and Tours can handle everything from ticketing, hotel reservation, and more. All-Seal Mail and All-Seal Travel and Tours, subsidiaries of Orchard Security and Investment Limited, All-Seal. Visit us today.
CoreTV News now live on all Androids.
Welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
Download CoreTV News app from your Play Store. Click on the menu to see all our top stories from politics, sports, business, foreign news and live TV to watch us live on your mobile.
I want to know why I should be believing them.
You can also click on video to see all our YouTube videos. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Outside Nigeria now, a constitutional court has ordered South African President Jacob Zuma to repay part of the money spent in upgrading his house. In its ruling today, the court says Zuma failed to uphold, defend and respect the constitution when he ignored the order of an anti-corruption watchdog to repay some of the money spent on his house. The unanimous ruling by the 11-judge court is the latest twist in a 6-year saga over Kandla that now adds financial damage to the political wounds it has already inflicted on Zuma. After the ruling, the top 6 leaders of Zuma's ruling African National Congress said they would meet to discuss the outcome of the case. And at least 21 people have been killed and dozens trapped after a section of an under-construction overpass collapsed in a crowded area of the eastern Indian city of Kolkata on Thursday. Rescuers are struggling to free survivors using sniffer dogs and special cameras to find trapped people and use saws, small cranes, and their bare hands to dig through the wreckage in search of victims. A police officer at the scene, Richard Hona, says the condition is pathetic, pointing out that at this moment, no one has any clue how many people are trapped in. A witness, Ravinder Kumar Gupta, a grocer, discloses that 2 buses carrying more than 100 passengers were trapped, adding that 8 taxis and 6 auto rickshaws were partly visible in the wreckage. And now at least 7 police officers have been killed and 27 people wounded when a car bomb attack hit a police vehicle in Turkey's Kurdish-dominated city of Diyarbakir in the southeast of the country. Turkish officials say the explosion took place near a busy bus terminal, injuring both police officers and civilians. The blast damaged several cars and shattered almost all the windows of a nearby building. No one has claimed responsibility for the blast. Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan, who is currently in the US for a nuclear security summit, denounced the attack, saying that the determination of the country's security forces will put an end to it. Turkey's southeast has been rocked by waves of violence since a ceasefire between the Kurdistan Workers' Party (PKK) and the government collapsed last July. And now the League Management Company of Nigeria has imposed a fine of over 6 million on Sunshine Star over violent conduct of its fans. That's in sport in a moment. Well, let's continue with the story now. The LMC accuses the Akure-based football club of breaching some of its rules during a Week 9 match against Shooting Stars FC of Ibadan in the Nigerian Professional Football League. Sunshine Stars will pay 5 million naira and a suspended 2-point deduction for hindrance or broadcast towards the end of the match. Sunshine Star will, in 3 different charges, pay 500,000 naira for not controlling their supporters from harassing and assaulting a visiting club's officials. The club will also pay 750,000 naira for failure to ensure adequate security and allow access to unauthorized persons to all restricted areas. Sunshine Stars picked up the maximum 3 points for the first time in this season after beating the visiting Shooting Stars 2-1. And now Sunderland are set to terminate defender Emmanuel Ebue's contract following the latest ban from all football-related activity for 1 year. World Football governing body FIFA had suspended Ebue over his failure to pay money owed to a former agent, a matter which dates back to July 2013. 32-year-old Ebue joined Sunderland until the end of the season on March 9 and has 2 weeks to appeal against FIFA's decision. Ebue has not made a first-team appearance for the Black Cats and had been ordered by FIFA to pay agent Sebastian Buseo an undisclosed amount he was adhered to under the terms of agreement between the pair. The Black Cats defender, who was former Arsenal fullback, was fined 30,000 Swiss francs in September 2014 and given 4 months to settle the matter. You'll be watching CoreTV Primetime News. Just before we go, a recap of our major headlines now. Well, that's been the shot tonight on CoreTV Primetime News. Many thanks for watching on behalf of the entire news production. I am Frank Omalape. Have a good night rest.